It's a good book. I'm going to have to do some work on this one, though, because both of the topics that we're dealing with deal with betrayal and have a tragic element to them rather than a humorous element to them.
Right. Yeah.
So that's some reworking.
Yeah, I think that yeah, it's definitely doable, you know, and I think you guys have a definite kind of captivating market, you know, when it comes to, I mean, you know, even just where I would go to kind of find this type of thing is you know, I first go to Amazon and kind of look at, you know, which I'm sure you guys have done, but it's always interesting to see like what's selling and, you know, what sort of topics are being discussed. You know, we've got like grandparents and parents. Let's see.
Well, with caring for the elderly, you've got several terms. You've got caring for the elderly, elder care, which is more of a medical type term.
Yeah, it is.
Geriatric care, which, for whatever reason, that term does not seem to be in vogue nowadays.
Which one?
Geriatric care.
Oh, yeah.
It's used in the medical community, but I know, you know, like for instance, there was even that recent story by Geraldo, how 70 is the new 50, and he did the nudie shot of himself.
Okay.
I mean, people are being weird.
Yeah, they are. Well, people just they don't want to get old. You know, nobody wants to think that. You know, especially like, you know, my parents' generation. It's like they don't want to, you know, don't label me. So.
Yeah, so I think elder care is probably the up and coming as opposed to geriatric, as opposed to old age.
Mm-hmm. It's just taking over our lives. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that it, you know, it will be one of the huge industries the next 20 years, you know, because people are just going to live longer.
That's what they think?
Yeah. I mean, you know, just in general. I mean, the population at large will live longer and, you know, I mean, all my friends, they're all nurses, you know, so.
Well, one thing I did that was recommended by one of the folks, I don't remember if it was you or someone else, it was the whole idea of using the Google alerts to find the latest news.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, that's one way that we, you know, one thing that we do, especially, and this could really kind of help you guys, is especially if, sorry, I'm trying to get back to your document here. Here we go. So the interesting thing about this is once you find, you know, like, so I would just type in, if I was starting from scratch with no knowledge of the industry at all, I would just go senior citizens, and then I would go to news, right? So, and I would look at the headlines, and I would look for stories that, so if I was saying like, you know, if I was saying like senior citizens care is rising and will be one of the most talked about issues of, so whatever my point was that I was trying to make in the sales letter, if I didn't have a ton of credibility or people that knew my name, I would look for news stories and I would look for prominent, you know, headlines that supported my point of view. like CNN, you know, a recent survey by CNN.com says this about elder care, which is something that we both, you know, so whatever you're trying to, you know, whatever you're trying to, the point that you're trying to make, I would look for, you know, surveys, studies, anything that would support and lend credibility to my claims. And so, okay, so this one, families face tough decisions as cost of elder care soars. USA Today. And I would read through these stories and, you know, so if there's something in here about, if there's something in your book about, like dealing with the high, you know, 7 ways to deal with the high rising cost of, you know, of elder care. So the bullet point would be like USA Today reports, you know, families facing tough decisions as cost of elder care soars. Well, we found, you know, whatever XYZ ways to lower those costs, sometimes dramatically. So like this right here, for 2/3 of Americans over 65 are expected to need some long-term care. The costs are increasing beyond reach. So if they're saying something like, you know, if you think that you're alone in this environment, you're not. In fact, USA Today reports for the 2/3 of Americans over 65 who are expected to need some long-term care, the costs are, you know, so you could say 2/3 of Americans are expected, over 65 are expected to need long-term care, reports USA Today, right? So these things are, and then you could kind of take like a screenshot of the article and put it into your sales letter. So that's always something that I like to do because it anchors your claims in belief and it anchors your claims in real life. They're not just saying it's USA Today, it's saying that, or the New York Times. So that type of thing, and that takes a little bit of work to kind of go in and read, you know, skim 20 or 30 stories and find a tidbit like this that you can use to support your claims. But, you know, if you're saying like, hey, you know, if you don't believe this is a big deal, check out what USA Today, you know, is reporting on, you know, how we all need to be prepared to face this eventuality, you know. In fact, USA Today says 2/3 of Americans over 65 are expected to need some long-term care. And
Well, I think
estimate that 1 year in a private room runs a median of $91,000 a year. We found ways to dramatically lower that cost, or whatever the benefit could be. You know.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to narrow it down even more because our population is going to be the generation that's providing the care. And also that have the elderly living with them,
right,
in their home. And I think that's going to narrow it down, but I still think that that's going to be an exploding population because more and more kids and parents are living together just to make ends meet. So I think that living together is going to be more of a key term than the cost of long-term care.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So like even this one, some 60% of Americans are in retirement, you know, so talking about like, how do you manage your money? You know, how are you going to avoid being tapped out of your retirement account? You know, so many who can't afford it by insurance. So
any survey and statistics that would back up our position, use those.
Oh yeah, and that might take a couple hours of research just reading through this stuff. A lot of times I'll go into these articles and I'll press Command or Control F and I will like type in. So if I'm looking for like a dollar amount, then it'll show me where all the dollar amounts are. So if I'm looking at like, you know, whatever my, you know, if I'm looking for like baby boomer, or you know, seniors, then it'll tell me where all that stuff is. So that's kind of how I go through and search the articles, and you know, even let's see. So there's a lot, you know, that's always coming up. So if I'm looking for, you know, if I'm just looking for, you know, baby boomer, if I just want to see what are people talking about? So are baby boomers too optimistic about retirement, right? So this could be something where, hey, a lot of people your age are not really taking into account the fact that this situation might happen to them. In fact, according to Fortune magazine, you know, and then you kind of quote the article. So that is one of the ways that that I go through and try to improve the claims. So, and that depends on like what the claims are. Like if it's, you know, if you're saying like, hey, this is a serious issue, you know, then you would look at how people are unprepared and how they need to get prepared. If, you know, so whatever the point is that you're trying to make, you would, you know, that's how you do that. So, let me see what else I can think of. Let's see if we already did that. Let's see. Not seeing anything there. But that's a lot of it is how I, you know, there's even like mother-in-law suite or whatever the terms that people are using. And I will go look at, you know, the news, because it's such a big, even like elderly care forums. So the elder care forum, caregiver support forum, aging care. So I would go in here and I would look at the top answers here. So this one, like 2,443 answers. I would look at the topics. I would look at things that people are worried or fearful about, and sort of how to, you know, should this be in my sales letter? Should this be in my table of contents for the book? Caregiver forum. So these are always the, you know, caregiver poll questions. So there's just a lot of resources here, especially when you do like elder care forums or things like that. So this is sort of how I go into here and look at what the topics are. Look at, you know, so you could say, so this one is the, no, I don't want to download anything. So dysfunctional families, right? You know, you could have, you know, even sort of the headlines. So like, you know, so you could read, so that could be like an article, you know, that we've been talking about. So like how to become the ultimate caregiver, even if you're from a dysfunctional family, you know? So, you know, or even if your family, like, you know, can't stand each other right now, it's because that's what people are talking about. And then going in here and reading these comments and reading about what these people are saying. And I usually look for the longer ones. and kind of see, are there common beliefs, objections, are there common doubts, or things like that in here. So as I told my 4 daughters, I did the best I could as a parent. Now it's your turn to do your best. I think this is really good, because this is how your audience is talking, and this is how your people are feeling. And I think tapping into that is very, very powerful, because it's just like a big Facebook group of audience members that you didn't have to build, and they're all in here and they're all talking and they're all, exchanging ideas. And so I would look for the ones that have like at least 100 comments, and even if it's just caught my mom using my toothbrush to comb her hair. So I think these are interesting stories. And this one, like, did hospice rush your loved one's death? Mom's stubbornness is confounding to me. So these are all things that people are struggling with, and that you can go in and get a lot of ideas. And that's just like one forum. Looks like this aging care, 40 informative forums. So there's a lot in here. So I think I would start, again, as you're coming up with this letter, I would look at that. And I think these people are wondering what the best techniques are and tips. And they are looking for someone who understands and empathizes what they're going through and can help them find a roadmap forward that is as stress-free and as financially unburdensome as possible. Right. So, even just typing that out,
What's hungry?
So unburdens their emotions and sets free their fears about the future. One thing I see is they're very afraid of making mistakes. They're afraid of, saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong actions. So these are all things to really keep in mind of what they want. So this is what the letter really should reflect. So I think doing things like saying things like this is something they already know. I would really write the letter to them in terms of, think of your perfect prospect, and that is someone that's already going through an elder care situation or about to go through it. But I think this type of, right here where you're talking about taking care of, that they know it's a big deal. You don't have to put that in there. But you would probably have to put in the fact that, a lot of empathy. And then, so basically it's like, your should be identity, empathy, struggle, and then solution.
How can I express empathy and understanding of their issues without repeating phrases like that?
Well, that is a very good question. And one thing that I would do is, so instead of saying things like this, where it's like, maybe they already know this.
So you guys just use it.
I would definitely say,
What?
let's see.
You in a queue or something?
I would just look at it like, does this have to be here? So a lot of times, like if I'm writing to someone who's already struggling with elder care or is even thinking about doing this, they already know it's a big deal through the weight of their shoulders, you know. So you could write copy like this. You could say something like, and then you know, and then you have, you know, the screenshot.
Okay. While you're in the flow, I have another question.
Yeah.
With the line where you said, and it can be a daunting task.
Right.
Okay. Because you know more about copywriting than me, and one of the things that I try to do a lot of times is use action language as opposed to passive forms of the verb to be.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't know if that makes a difference with copyright content or not.
No, yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, you usually want to always use an active voice.
Okay.
But of course, like, you know, just getting it down on paper, you know, so I think like being empathetic to them, but then also showing them that you have the right solution to, you know, to go about this. So I think, you know, I think that, so like getting them to empathize with you and then empathizing with them is really a lot of the purpose of the letter. You know, and let's see. So then this would be, so then when you're talking about the results that they want, honoring their mother and father, not making mistakes, set free their fears about the future, right? So this outline isn't perfect by any means, but basically I want to start getting the And then you would tell the, so then you would say the struggle, but before that, so there has to be a part in here where, and this is what happens when we're redoing things. It gets a little bit messy, but this is the beginning of it. Dear friend, if you've been wondering what the best techniques are to live with your elderly relative or parent, or whatever the right phrasing is there, then this will be the most helpful letter you ever read. And then you would go into, here's why. And then you would tell them the bad to good. So that you would tell them, you would introduce yourself and say like where you're from. If that, I'm a regular parent of 3 kids from wherever. And so if I was going to say like, hey, I'm Lucy, and I'm a mom of 3. I'm happily married in here in Ohio. And a few years ago, my mom came to live with us. And to tell you the truth, it totally shocked me. I wasn't prepared at all. And things were very, very rocky and very unstable in the household. However, I was able to turn that all around with a few strategies and techniques, and now things are great. And I'd like to share with you how I did it. But it wasn't always this way, right? And then you go into the struggle for a couple paragraphs, like what was, like my dog was always biting me, and it peed everywhere, and people would come to the house and say like, what's that urine smell? And it was terrible. And I thought I was going to have to give the dog away, but then something happened. I began to, I picked up a book about, elder care, or I, changed my mindset, and everything was different, so there has to be, on the struggle, there has to be a point of, a point where the story changes into the solution or, or breakthrough. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, and that goes back to that first question, because I wasn't sure, because there's no way I could turn this into a joke following a 60-second hook.
No. Yeah, you definitely don't have to. I think that's just probably, Kevin's example of how he used it in his work. So for me, my kind of 60-second thing is, I'm Lawton Childs, and for the last 10 years I've written, persuasive copy for some of the internet marketing's most celebrated and well-known marketers. And I enjoy getting results from my clients to this day, in millions of dollars. And it's like, but it wasn't always this easy. In fact, at the beginning, I struggled. Perhaps you feel the same way. However, I'd like to show you exactly what I did to achieve my results and show you how to get the same results in your business. And then I talk about the struggle for 3 or 4 paragraphs and the nightmare scenario of what went horribly wrong. Like while I can write persuasive copy for just about anybody who needs my help, it wasn't always this way. In fact, it was horribly, misguided and spelling errors everywhere, and it was terrible. Let me tell you a little bit about that. I go into a couple paragraphs about that, and then I'm like, but then I discovered, what I was really good at, and in a few months, everything changed for the better, and I was able to crank out persuasive copy very fast. Here's what I did, and here's how I think it could help you. I focused on finding quick solutions and quick wins for my clients. And now I'm able to, instead of worrying about making everything perfect, I'm able to go in and do exactly what my superpower and what I'm able to be good at. I'm able to apply that to the client and get them the results that they need, because I only focus on the things that I'm good at. So that for you guys, it would be something like, we found a few tips, solutions, and secrets that allowed us to live in a peaceful home, honor our elderly relative, and give them the best experience possible while allowing us to have peace of mind. we've put together 27, rules or guidelines or practical tips that anyone can follow, regardless of income, how long they've had the elder in their home, or with no prior experience necessary. And then after that, you would say, hey, but don't take my word. This is incredibly effective, but hey, I don't want you to take my word for it. Here's what other people have to say. You'd put in a couple testimonials of your friends or other people that had gone through similar things and their results. And then you would say, hey, if you think this is right for you, I'd love to give you an incredible discount. It's worth whatever, it's worth $47 or $97, but today I'd like to give it to you just for one payment of $7 and, whatever it is. So it doesn't have to be super long. It just has to have that struggle, breakthrough, and then maybe if you have supporting testimonials, I would put those in there. And then, state the price and the guarantee and all that. Does that make sense and make it a little bit more clear?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think the main thing the letter needs is I think this part is okay, but it's not really giving them something this isn't really giving them anything that is providing a ton of value. So there's a couple ways you can do the letter. You could do the struggle, identity, the identity, struggle, breakthrough, and then hey, here's how to get the same results. You could do an article, 5 ways to have peace of mind with taking care of the elderly, where you introduce yourself, you give 5 big tips, so 500 to 1,000 words. And then at the end you say, hey, if you like this kind of thing, I've put together this book, which has the following, and you write some bullet points, the 3 things never to say to your elder care if you want to live in a peaceful home, 17 things that you should have on hand before your elderly relative moves into your house, 3 easy ways to go on vacation without your elderly relative and still have a home that's standing when you get back, So then, hey, if you want to buy the book, you can. So those are the 2 ways to do it. I think this type of language is for someone who's not even really your audience because they're not ready to take action yet. This would be someone who's maybe down the road, they're going to have an elderly parent or something. And yeah, they should know about elder care. You want to write a letter that's more basically about someone that's going through this right now and who just needs a shoulder to cry on, and then putting in that identity struggle breakthrough results.
Now, I could, in theory, go ahead and do a sales letter on each of these and then do a split test and see which one gets the results, correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think this stuff is good for, again, the person who's not really your audience, because I think they're not ready to buy a book. They're not even really looking for more information.
They're not an audience yet.
Yeah, they're not really the people that you want to talk to. I think the people that you want to talk to are the people in those forums. If you're writing a letter to the people in those forums, you're not going to say any of this stuff. You're really going to focus on, this beginning part, So, Dear Mary, you've been wondering what the best techniques are to live with your elderly relative or parent, still have money and still have, money left over to retire with, then this will be the most helpful letter you've ever read, and so, or whatever the main concern is, it's probably money.
Money and sanity, both.
Yeah, money and sanity, So I think that would probably get you in a better direction than this type of language down here, where it's very vague. It's not really addressing someone who's going through that right now, which is who you want to be talking to.
Okay, that makes sense.
And a lot of times I would use the John Carlton technique of like for every paragraph, I look at the paragraph and I say, like, so what? Does this need to be in here for them to believe that I know what I'm talking about and for them to believe that I've gone through this and I have the solution that they want? And you say yes or no. And if it does, you keep it in. If it doesn't, you take it out. So that helps me a lot just to kind of take the pressure off of writing a high persuasive, sales letter. So it's just one person talking to another, and and that's why that plain language works very well. So I would take that advice and maybe take another stab at it, and then bring it back to me next month, and we'll look at it again.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Let's see who else is on. But yeah, I would definitely look at that. I struggle at the identity. I can't remember the exact thing, but know, like, and trust. That. Who am I, and what's the nightmare scenario? How did I get the breakthrough? And it doesn't have to be like a big bolt of lightning breakthrough, but it can be. Hey, over time, I discovered 17 killer tips and solutions and strategies that are working amazingly well. And in a minute, I'd like to tell you about them because they're very, very effective for me and for my friends, and I know that they could work for you too, So it doesn't have to be like this bolt of lightning breakthrough, but it should be something that can help them, which I think you guys have. So, Let's see. Do we have a chat? Yes, we do. Yes, the family. I don't know who the family is. Is that like the mafia? Like who is?
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing great. We're just all sitting around here. We are not the mafia. We've tried. We failed.
Yeah. Are you in Australia?
We are. Yeah, we are. It's morning here.
Nice, man. Well, I appreciate you getting up early to spend time with us.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So we've got a pretty basic question.
Okay.
We've been working with Todd for our VSL. We've been writing the script for our VSL. And so far we've done 75% of it, the education part of it, and that's done. That's complete. We're ready to go. But what we're up to now is the offer part of it, where we actually talk about the product and actually sell the product. And what we needed help with was the structure of that offer. So what comes first? So we can say, what's the product's $97. It's called Video Indoctrination Secrets, and we can say in the Video Indoctrination Secret course, you'll get this, this, this. Then there'll be a price check stage. There'll be a guarantee stage. What are those elements that we have to get in the offer?
Yeah, so basically the offer is almost the easiest part because it's just, here's what I've got,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think everything else about the VSL is a lot harder, but I also think that, yeah, so the basic structure of it would be, after you've done all the other stuff before it, is saying like, if you need the type of results that we've gotten here, we've put together an amazing, ultra specific offer for you that's going to help you every step of the way to use video to attract clients, customers, and fans, in a way that's completely new and different than anything you've ever seen before. And you would say announcing the, Video Secrets 2.9, or announcing or introducing Video Secrets 2.9, the ultimate guide to attracting, a raving audience of fans, clients, and customers easily and quickly. And so it's like, here's what you get, when you become, when you invest in the course. So is it like a DVD? Is it a module thing?
It's a membership website where they sign in and they watch modules.
Okay, how many modules is it?
Well, we actually haven't created the product yet. We're just marketing it, but we would imagine it'd be, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 or something like that.
Okay, yeah. So I would say, everything is delivered in 7 different modules. In module 1, and you would give it a title like, I don't know, beginning your advanced persuasion, videos on the cheap, and then you would bullet out every single thing in the module. So a lot of times I will go through module stuff and I will say, is there something in here that can become a bullet point of what they get? So, in module 1, we're going to go over the following, and then you bullet out everything that they get. So we're going to, in the first week of the course, you're going to learn how to, make amazingly effective videos, even if you don't have a camera, or hate seeing your face on video.
Any major point we make in the course, we can put down as a bullet point and say, in the course, you'll get this, you'll learn this.
Yeah, exactly. So like you will discover, you're going to get 5 easy ways to produce amazingly effective video sales letters, PowerPoints, and keynotes, even if you don't have a shred of technical ability, or can't turn on your computer, or whatever. So everything you teach them becomes a bullet point. So module 1, you have, 7 to 10 bullets. Then you do the same thing. Then the next week, we go right into this all gears us up for module 2, which is where you're going to learn how to do X, Y, Z. And so everything in module 2 is on a screen as bullet points. So 4 or 5 bullets for every slide. And you could have more than that. So it would look kind of like this, let me show you. So module 1. And then if you're doing it in the VSL, like if you're talking in the VSL about, can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah, the Zoom thing is pretty cool. Better than join me.
That's visual.
Yeah, we could be figuring it out. I was like, how does this work? So, you would say something like, module 1 is like ultra video on the cheap, you will learn how to make killer videos even if you don't have a camera. So on all of these would be bulleted like this. You can do it a couple ways. Sometimes I like to bold every other bullet. Sometimes I like to just bold the beginning of the bullets, like that. Doesn't really matter. And then like if they're getting things, you get all of our, scripts, PowerPoint templates, and so this would be this would be like so this would be like module 1, module 2. And then in the slide, so this could be like one VSL slide, right?
Sure.
And then instead of having all of this on the screen at once, I would make everyone appear by itself, so they can't read ahead,
Yeah, I get you.
And that's how I would do that. So module 1, and then you would do the same thing for, so if there's more than 4 bullets, I would put it on a new slide, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And then like everything, then that brings us into, module 2, module 3, module 4. And and then you say like, you might think that all of this information will require a serious investment, and it all, so I would say something like, forgive the, so this sounds awesome. What's my investment today, right? And you would say something like, this is a serious, as you can see, this is serious value, and you would, if you're thinking it's a serious investment, normally you would be right. This type of information is not just given away, nor should it be. We've tested all of the methods and come up with the most effective ones, which we are giving you today. Normally this would be a whatever, however, if you join the program today, you'll only pay 3 payments of, I don't know, $197, So that's sort of how I like to, this is a good way to kind of do the, to do the pricing. And then as far as the guarantee, I kind of like to, so like after you say like, here's what you get, here's exactly what you're going to get. Let me go through all the modules and exactly what it's going to do for you in your business, right? Then you go through all the modules, and then, you're probably saying that this sounds awesome and wondering what your investment is today. Here's the deal. We've tested all of the methods, everything you could do with video, and come up with the most effective ones, which we are giving you today on a silver platter. We've done all the hard work, so you don't have to do anything at all. Just use our methods. Now, normally this type of course would be a $997 investment that you would have to make. It's a serious course for serious business owners. And then the new slide. However, if you join the program right now, you'll only pay 3 small payments of $197 each. That's a discount of whatever percent. And then you go into and I want you to know you're totally protected by our guarantee. I want you to take everything for a test drive. Use all the videos, use all the strategies, bring this thing back like destroyed and beat up, and take every secret that we've given you, put it into practice in your business for 30 days. If for any reason or no reason at all, you aren't 100% delighted with your results, I'd like you to keep everything with my compliments, and I'll rush you a prompt and courteous refund, or whatever the guarantee is. I like to do that type of guarantee because it just takes away all the risk, and hardly anyone ever asks for the refund anyway, So, so that's how I like to structure it. And then after the buy button comes down, so right here, the buy button would come down. And then you'd talk about the guarantee, you would say like, here's the deal, I want you to take everything for a test drive. If for any reason or no reason at all you aren't 100% delighted, I want you to let me know within 60 days or whatever, and I'll rush you a prompt and courteous refund, no questions asked. And you can keep everything, or if there's a way to like get it back, you can. I don't know how you get it back, but So then I would put in some testimonials after that, if you got them.
And do we just skip it until if we don't have testimonials yet?
Yeah, you can skip that. Guarantee, and then like you could have so then you could have like a question and answer if it's like a webinar, question and answer time with another call to action. Another call to action you know, like, hey, you need to act right now. Maybe, and then if they, you know, bonus, you could add a bonus, and then a final call to action.
Yeah. So the call to action is just asking for the sale again, is it?
Yeah, yeah. The call that it's just, hey, like, you know, enroll, you know, click. So this would be the call to action, right?
Yeah. That call to action, do I literally just use that like one line, or do I fill it out a little bit more?
Oh, you can do whatever you want, but I mean, I would just say, you know, hey, if you know, I would use like the triple touch. Kern does this a lot. Like, hey, you know, you're here, you're watching this video, you know that videos work, and you know that you need a great opportunity to be able to put that into your business. That's why you're perfect for the, you know, Video Mastery 3000. Right now, I want you to click the button below to enroll right now. I also want you to know you're fully protected by our, you know, crazy, insane guarantee. Here's how it works and how it benefits you. So then I would do the guarantee. And then I would say, like, a couple people have had some questions. Let me answer those. I would have 4 or 5 slides of questions and answers. And then another call to action. Like, hey, time's almost running out on this. You know, you only have today until the price actually will go up significantly. You know, that's why you need to enroll right now by clicking the button below, and everything will immediately be given to you. You'll have access to module 1, and then every week we go through another module. In fact, for those who act right now, we're going to include another bonus worth, you know, $1,000. We talk about the bonus, and then the final call to action. So that could be like click the buy button, you know, click the enroll button, tell them exactly what to do and how to do it. You know, on the next page, here's what will happen. You know, you'll enter your credit card details, and then everything will be provided to you in an email address in 10 to 15 minutes, that kind of thing.
Beautiful. That's unbelievably valuable for us. That's exactly what we needed. Thanks, mate.
Well, good, man.
The other thing, Morton, with a
That's Phil, by the way.
yeah, Phil, with the what's the industry? We've in talking to Todd, he suggested, you know, go for a $97 product. So how many models?
Oh, I lost you a little bit there.
Is there industry?
You said Todd said 97?
Yeah, just getting a product for $90 on video.
You broke up a little bit there too.
Just get there. Is that a bit better?
Sorry, it could be your internet or my internet. Do you want to type in your question?
Can you hear?
I think so.
Just wondering if, with a $97 product, is there an industry standard of how much content you have to put in, how many modules? Is it 3 hours of content, or it's really just open?
Yeah, it's kind of open. You know, I mean, it sounds like you guys are going to do a good job. I mean, I think a couple hours of content is fine. You know, enough for them to take your stuff and get great results with it. You know, you don't have to have like a 5-hour course or anything.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I would chunk the videos up like 5-minute videos, and every module you give them five 5-minute videos, and there's 3 to 5 modules. And yeah, I think that's fine.
All right. Well, that's been fantastic. That moves us to the next step.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no problem, guys. And I think that this is all being recorded, so you should get the video.
Fantastic.
Thanks very much, Lawton.
Hey, cheers, guys.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too. I guess that's it, guys. So this will be recorded, and I'm glad that we could help people once again. So, and then if you give me your email, guys, just put your email here in the chat. I'll turn this off, and then I'll email you this document.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.